Hi guys, and hey, welcome to this video. It's been an interesting few weeks here at home, and there's been quite a lot of interesting or unusual technological weirdness going on, or as a co-worker at work and a friend says, wackadoodle stuff, quite literally. So it started about a month ago, or just over a month ago, and I noticed in our home our alarm system was defaulting and making some unusual noises. Actually, not a proper alarm, but it would be setting off with like a background silent alarm buzzing. So I eventually had to call in the alarm specialist person, who said that it was showing it had been tampered with. And I said, well, who's tampering with the alarm and how could that happen? He said, well, something is and someone is. And it had, going back over the memory checks, it had numerous tampers that had been evident. And I was hearing this strange alarm noise go off quite often, all times of the day and night, just sporadically, whenever it felt like it. So he said, well, the way to remedy this is I will cut the tamper line. It will be removed from the alarm system and it won't be activated anymore. He said, so you cannot get another alarm code going off with the tamper alarm. It doesn't exist. It's been disconnected. I said, yep, fine, that'll do. A week later to the day that the alarm man came around to fix the problem, the alarm occurred again. I went back and to look what it was. It was the tamper code, which had been disconnected. The wire had been cut. So, yep, that's an odd one. Then I had noticed these three keys sitting on the table in front of you are my car keys. I do have three, which is a lot, which is unusual. However, one of them was always dead and was never activated, which was this one. And this is the one I use frequently, and last week it decided to stop working properly. So I took it back to the Subaru agency and asked for them to replace the battery, which they did, and the car then managed to talk and work again for a day. And then I had a problem come up where I couldn't start the car. Not properly. It would take me 5 minutes. I would have to get in and out of the car. I would try certain things to get it going, and then it would eventually go. So I booked it in for a service and asked them to find out what was going on, because literally I couldn't drive my car. So I took all three keys in, and they said the batteries were flat on the keys, and the keys had disassociated themselves from the car, so they were no longer communicating via their computer technology. And I said, really? All three of them? They said, yep. I said, but I just replaced the battery in this one 5 days ago. And they go, well, perhaps you didn't. I said, I did. The battery was replaced. They fixed the issue. I now have 2 new batteries in the car keys, because one would not talk to the car at all. They couldn't get it to communicate with it, which initially had been this one, which was a dead battery, if you like. It was a non-commissioned key. But this is the one that ended up being the non-commissioned key. Nobody can tell us why. Nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows how it happened. So that key no longer works, but I have 2 that work with new batteries after a week of really strange electrical anomalies within the car. And then I'm about to show you some lights that have been playing up in the house. Now, I have had them over the last week. There's 2 different lights in 2 different rooms doing the same thing, and it's really quite intriguing to look at, if nothing else. It almost looks like Morse code. So I wonder if anybody knows any Morse code. Now, I do get a lot of these type of things occurring relatively often, but I haven't seen this much activity for quite some time. And the last time I saw this amount of activity around the home and to do with all the technology and the electrical equipment was in 2011. Now, interestingly enough, at the moment we have an asteroid traversing quite close to Earth, which is called Vesta, which also was around in 2011. Now, the activity that I noticed back then really occurred around about the time of the Japanese tsunami. So when we connect with the psychic realm, we're connecting with the energies that we can't usually see. They exist, they're there, they're not dissimilar to radio waves or microwaves or other frequencies or other dimensions, such as the likes of quantum physics talk about now, and even Stephen Hawking before he passed. They acknowledge that clearly other dimensions or parallel universes are most likely existing at the same time. And sometimes the portals or the doorways open to a greater degree to allow energy fluctuations to come and go. And often that's when psychics, or how psychics actually make the connection to the etheric or the celestial realms through, if you like, portals or gateways of energetic vibrational connection. So I just thought I would make this video and talk a little bit about the anomalies that have occurred, which are very strange, all in, you know, a very short time frame, all within the house as such, and that this similar pattern occurred at the very similar time in 2011, and as it so happens, Vesta, the asteroid, was also in the same Earth space at that time. So one would wonder if Vesta has some form of energetic connection to Gaia, or has like a psychic pathway that allows people to connect to a higher level of psychic awareness and ability as well. The other thing where I live is actually on a Maori ley line in Auckland, and so it does have quite a lot of active spiritual energy on it anyhow, and so I do notice from time to time there is a hyper energized awareness around the house, but certainly right now and back in 2011 seem to be more active than I have seen in some time. I do often manage to create some really weird anomalies with electronic equipment. I think it's the vibrational frequency when we're connected to the essence of light energy and the psychic awareness energy. We are vibrating at a slightly different frequency, and I can often go into places like banks, and when I'm at a checkout or when I'm dealing with technological equipment, I can often set at a kilter. There's many times when I walk into a bank to go and do a transaction or something, and they say, "Oh, wait a minute, you'll have to stop, the computer's just shut down," or "Oh wait, the computer's glitching," or "Oh, it's just turned off." I set alarms off in buildings sometimes as well. I've walked into several buildings and alarms have gone off as I've walked in. So there is that actually happens, but it has been a little bit more pronounced at the moment. Oh, and the other thing with my car, and this could be sort of referencing a slightly different topic, but it could be referencing the Mandela effect scenario. During this issue with the keys and the car kind of playing up, over the last month I've noticed that my dashboard has changed incredibly. So it now has a totally different structure on it, with lighting, with different codes shining up on the dashboard at various times. It seems quite a different car in many ways. And interestingly, I'm wondering if any other of you notice this with YouTube, but my computer screen will often show two different YouTube dashboard features at the same time. If I've got more than one YouTube channel open on my computer, it shows two different styles of dashboard, one which was an older style and one which is a current style, I think. So I'm wondering if other people are noticing that that happens to them as well, or whether they only ever have one particular, you know, YouTube dashboard that's available to view. I'll upload that at the end of the video as well. And just while I was talking about this, my camera shut down and stopped working. so I had to get it working again. So those are some of the examples of the variances that we can experience. And I think for a lot of other people who are intuitively or connected at the light worker or, psychic end, these type of anomalies are probably quite prevalent and relevant as well. So thanks guys, take a look at these lights that are coming. Dashboard views that we can get on YouTube on the same computer at the exact same time. So if you look here, for instance, on this particular channel, we see the name of the video down here, the views, the name of the channel down here with information, the show more button, and then on this side over here the number of views, the share facility button over here, and the subscribed button. So at the same time, operating on the channel or on the computer, if we come up to the top of the computer up here, I will go to another window that I have open with YouTube on it. I will click on it and you will see that it's a different dashboard layout. So we have the name of the channel here, the subscribed button here, the title along here, the number of views over here, the information about how to share the video down here. If we click on the share button, we will see this format that pops up here. Whereas if we go back to the other video or the other video that I had playing, we come back here and we pop onto the share facility over here, and it's a different type of pop-up that arrives altogether. So as I say, these are operating at the exact same time on the channel or on my computer under the YouTube name and banner, operating at the same time. So two different styles and formats. So we will just go back up again. You can see it is the same computer at the same time. That's the other YouTube one I'm running, and that's the share facilities there. So does this happen to anyone else, that they have two different types of style of dashboard operating at the same time? This I believe to be the older format of YouTube dashboard, and the other one is the newer format with that type of pop-up for the sharing system. So yeah, how could that be that they're enabling that to run two at once, and do other people come across the same scenario? Because I find it quite fascinating. I kind of looked at it as thinking it was part of a possible Mandela effect, but I'm unsure. I'd like to hear your comments and your views. Thanks guys.